it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Still with that team standing away. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Here we go on our last episode of the week. Little Friday night Buckeye show coming at you. I'm Timmy Hall. Boatman, things going well back there?
Oh, they're going just fine, Clark.
How's Hidalgo doing?
We were up 3, I think, at halftime.
Oh, okay.
Offense, not great. Defense, pretty good.
It's a little tight. Notre Dame women's basketball. Bodie is a big fan. With me for the entire 2-hour ride tonight, I am pleased to see him. It seems like it's been a while. Dane Sanzenbacher. How we doing there, Dane?
We're doing well, Tim. How are you? How do I sound?
You sound like you've been on a cruise or something. Have you?
Yeah.
Takes
that's
it out
not,
of you.
That's not
it?
illness. This is just what I sound like when I talk for a week straight. I have sensitive vocal cords.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you're going to get a lower version.
So we're going to get the baritone, Dane Sanzenbacher. How was it, though? Did you have a good time? Was it
awesome,
you and the family or just you?
It was just me. It was,
oh, boy.
Well, me and my Buckeye family.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you've just got to be on like another level, like on it? You know what I mean? To be personable and
it's not quite the on. You have to be like on air here.
Not
but
all
it's
the time,
more than,
right?
It's more than like hanging out with your friends. Yes, because you still kind of are. It's not quite vacation, not quite working.
But you do a good job with that. I've heard stories about you from students that were at OSU that they were regular students. You were a member of the football team.
I was
and they
also
bumped
a regular.
You were a regular human being, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they've always had so many good things to say to me. I saw Dane at a house party, and he was very nice and very welcoming and all that stuff. You would have never thought he was a football player. I wonder what that means too. You know?
You know what it means.
What do we mean when we say, "Oh, you would never know he was a football player"? What do you mean by that?
Well, when you're a kid, your ego can get inflated very easily.
Yeah.
I didn't get it too much. I was far from perfect, but I didn't get bit by that bug real bad. And I think maybe being a normal size person helped too. Maybe I naturally could feel more normal, like a normal student. That's because people, when they didn't know who I was, they did not treat me differently.
No.
Now, if I was 6'5" and 300 pounds, they're going to have an eyebrow raised from the time I introduced myself.
They would just know and assume that you played football,
right? So I think I was undercover half the time, which is...
that is true.
I didn't have to have my guard up.
That is true. That's what we always say. That's phenomenal. We take a look at Dane Sanzenbacher. We're like, 4 years in the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's pretty wonderful.
I was thinking about how hard that would be to prove if Google didn't exist.
Yeah.
I think I may have a hard time in the pre-Google era.
I agree.
I might just stop talking about it. I probably would.
Google helps you out.
Because what am I going to do? There's not much I can do.
Nobody would believe you, right? What do you do? Like show them a coffee table book?
Yeah. Well, I know
one of the old Sports Illustrated books. Well, are you going to have any photographs in there?
Yeah, I'm not. Either I keep them in my wallet, or because I know there's interactions I have, and like they're Googling as soon as I walk away.
Exactly.
Like they're like, oh, really? Cool. And they get to the end of the conversation, and they're like, I got to look that up. I would do the same thing. Yeah. Like if you didn't know the person. And
they're like, okay, he said his name is Sanzenbacher or Sanzenbacher. Start with like S-A-N and see if anything pops up.
Yeah.
Dane, S-A-N-Z. Oh, okay. Oh, there. Look at that. He's wearing a Cincinnati Bengals uniform.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. He wasn't
I don't
lying.
know. Yeah, early 90s. I don't know how I prove it.
I don't know. Hey, you had a good point about our cleanliness in the studio here before we get going, because we got a lot of Buckeye football topics. You said something about our chairs, and I never stopped to think about this. Obviously, there's a reason why I switch chairs before doing a show, because 2 are unoccupied. That doesn't mean that no one's ever... It doesn't mean that those 2 chairs that are unoccupied have never been sat in. If everybody's kind of doing what I do, then they get sat in every day.
They're just a little bit more fresh.
I guess maybe they're not leather chairs. We sit on cloth chairs that are decent. I like them. They're comfortable. Yeah. But you made the point that, like when do we clean the chairs, or when do we just flat out get new ones? Because 14 hours of ACE pressed into these cloth chairs every single day?
Yeah.
You made a great point. I never thought about that.
I'm not like a germaphobe or anything, but you're in here so much, so you probably don't even see it. You're just like, you're locked in of what you're doing.
With the sound of your voice today, you do seem like a germaphobe.
Because I sound like I ate germs? What do you mean?
Because you sound like you are fighting back sickness and you don't want to be that way.
Oh, no.
So I understand it.
I'm not. And I haven't been sick in a while, knock on wood. This, like I said,
when we say that.
This was due to talking a ton. I feel fine.
It's just the gravelly voice.
Yeah. But I was just like, well, I sat in this chair. I was like, wow, that's warm. And then I was like, okay, well, there's an extra chair. I'll switch it. And then you said I switch the chair every show. And I said, how often do these get cleaned?
I don't think they ever do.
It's probably been never, and they were probably bought how many years ago? So 14 hours a day
years ago,
for how many?
These came over with us from the brewery district. What would you do to clean them? What do you, like, just spray them?
There's probably some, like, the same, like, type of carpet cleaning apparatus you would use.
The apparatus,
you would need to be able to pull whatever it is out of there.
You need to.
There needs to be a suction
and
wet
heat and
suction.
Wet.
Yes.
Yeah. It needs to be like one of those nice Bissell Pro Pluses. Gets into the shag. And that's disgusting. I was watching it on QVC sometime last week, and I had to look away when it was doing the demonstration of cleaning like nasty stuff out of the carpet. When it got like the hot water and the soap, and it was chugging away and pulling like the spaghetti sauce and whatever had spilled onto the carpet. Disgusting. But whatever gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean, just think about the amount of like food conversations you guys have had. Like just all of these shows over the years, and I don't think any kind of cleaning products ever touched these chairs.
And speaking of that,
I think I'd rather go with wood.
What about
I would sit in a wood chair?
A wooden chair. What about one of the chairs from St. John Arena?
Now we're talking.
Why don't we
bring it back around town to the Buckeye show?
We could put like a bank of those chairs up against one of the sidewalls just for the looks, just for the effect.
I would love that.
And then we could maybe make like modified wooden chairs.
Yeah, like take the one, put on a swivel. Like you'd have to take the actual bench seat up, but put it on like an elevated,
prop it up a little bit.
Like a bar stool.
We could maybe make like
a swivel on there. Like if we sat on swiveling St. John chairs.
And then we'd have like the hydraulic for the lift.
Of course, you'd modernize the bottom part of it, but keep the top part authentic.
We got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And people think that the wooden chairs are uncomfortable. I don't understand that. The wooden chairs at St. John Arena, to me, are so comfortable.
Yeah, you haven't sat in one in a while.
They're much better than the things that they have at the Schottenstein Center with the cheap padding that you also wonder, how dirty are those things?
Whoever
butts have
ask
been in
around,
those?
because if they are clean, the same cleaning service, you just do a lap around here maybe once a year.
Oh, man. Dame, what was the best thing you saw or did on the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer?
We did some cool stops. My favorite stop was Grand Cayman Island.
Beautiful.
And they have a really long beach there. And I didn't have any like specific excursion, but we got in a cab and we went to the beach and acted like children. We played diving catches with Frisbee for like an hour and a half.
Beautiful. Was there a specific former teammate or friend that you were hanging out with most of the time, or
I was with
kind of group that you were a part of?
I was with the great Ryan Miller. And I was with the great AJ Hawk. You know him as the one that.
Yep.
He sits next to Pat on your TV screen.
Yes, he does all the time.
All the time, and AJ's brother was there too. So that was kind of like our crew, and Ryan's son. So there was like 5 of us.
AJ's brother, does he do a podcast? I believe he does.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he does like a YouTube podcast.
Good.
That's awesome. So you had a good time out there. I know the game coming up tomorrow. That's going to be a big one in the Sanzenbacher household because you being the Ohio State alum, your wife is an Indiana gal, and this one could be for an NCAA tournament bid. Men's basketball, Buckeyes at Indiana tomorrow at 3:45. Odd start time. We'll be here at 2:45 to get you guys warmed up for it. Could very well be the NCAA tournament bid on the line.
Yeah. That's
for both.
You know, it used to be this was the only like time of year that these big matchups happen. We had a weird one in football this past year when Indiana was randomly good in our household.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, this will always be a big one, and it's just kind of matched up that both teams, it becomes a must win. So
I cannot wait for it. I'm a little nervous about it. I'm worried about the front court for Indiana. That's going to be the ticket for this Buckeye basketball team. See how Aaron Bradshaw and Sean Stewart and Devin Royal can manage Ballo and Renew inside, and if they can stay hot offensively like they've been. All right, we got a lot to get to. We heard from new defensive coordinator Matt Patricia for the first time today. What did he say about this opportunity to join up with the Buckeyes? That's next. Dane Sanzenbacher is in. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
Life is more fun with a pal. So is pizza. So check out Donato's new $5 Pizza Pals menu. Order any large pizza and add on your choice of a sub, salad, wings, a 10-inch pizza, and more for just $5. It's the new $5 Pizza Pals menu from Donato's. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmiler.com. Go Bucks!
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cloudy skies, a couple light rain showers, and a cool finish on this Friday. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s. Overnight, we'll fall back down to the low 30s, with any rain and snow showers ending by sunrise Saturday. Plenty of clouds around early, giving way to plenty of sunshine in the afternoon. It will be breezy and cool, though, with highs in the low 40s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Block O on the radio. This is the Buckeye Show.
Timmy Hall, Dane, Sanzenbacher, all you fine Buckeye fans, I hope you've had a great week. I hope you've been taking part in hashtag Pizza Madness that our friends from Man and Bone have been putting on. I had a tough matchup today, Dane, that kind of pulled at some heartstrings. You weren't with us that night, but this show did a remote. It was the first remote I believe we've ever done. Just a straight up, it was just a weeknight show. And we hit the road. Coors Light, one of the show sponsors, we're pleased to be brought to you by our friends at CareSource and by Coors Light here on the Buckeye Show. Might as well do that now.
Yeah.
So they were hooking us up, and they were a partner to do some shows on the road. And the first one we did was at Cardo's. Terrific pizza out in Pickerington.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Yeah, and it was a 7-10 matchup, and it just so happened that my guys at Cardo's were matched squarely up against my number one pizza spot that we've had 300 pies from in the last 13 years in Hilliard, Flyers. And they get a number of locations. They're both really, really good. I have to say great things about both.
I remember I hadn't heard of Flyers, and you put it on your Power 5 when we did that.
Yes, I did. I did. And what's your spot again? Remind me. Like if you got one pizza night.
Oh, Sexton's is the one
You're
I
a
gave.
Sexton's guy.
Yeah, I gave that my top spot.
I just had it last night.
It's really good.
And my goodness. So
I like a lot of them, but I really like Sexton's.
I had both types there. I had the regular style.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered the 614, which is a pepperoni, candied bacon, and banana peppers.
Mm-hmm.
For my money, you can't do a lot better than just those three toppings. I don't like an abundance of toppings. Banana peppers don't really weigh a pie down because they're just sort of sliced a certain way. They're very light.
Yep.
They had some sweetness, some tang, and some spice to it. And I think the candied bacon, that's just a miss by a lot of places. That goes so well. If you're subbing, sausage is great. Obviously, I would want to know what a pizza place's sausage is like. There's that. But man, it was just a good pie. So I had that kind of pie. And then their thick crust, which is like a medium density. It was an 8-corner, almost like a Jet-style, Detroit-style pizza.
I had no idea they
have that. It is phenomenal.
Are you sure?
Oh, my God. So good. So good.
No, we just always do the traditional. And the
which
crust,
is great. Yeah.
And I do also like, as somebody who is like decision challenged, the pared down options for your toppings there. They know what they do well, and they just give you those offerings. It's like you're not going to have asparagus and a bunch of random vegetables on your pizza.
But they got a white pizza, too.
They've got options.
Which is a good option.
They've got options, but they have all of the options are good. They've saved it for the ones that they know go well with their pizzas.
And I don't want to sound insane, but you could also, if a pizza place really knows what it's doing, its plain cheese should be able to knock your socks off. And I didn't get it this time at Sexton's, but I would imagine their plain cheese is pretty damn good. Because then that crust really becomes the star of the show. And when you're cooking in a stone/brick oven to do the pizza, it gives that the flavor and that crispiness and that well-doneness to the pizza crust.
Yeah. You should get 90% of the picture of what the place is all about from their cheese pizza. I agree.
Yeah. You were telling me something cool, too, because we just left off talking about the Indiana-Ohio State matchup, which we will get into a little bit deeper later on at 7:30 when Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch gives us some of his final thoughts on this team making the road trip out there. But you're going back to Indiana next week, regardless, for the Thursday session.
Yep.
You said not so much you, but your lovely wife. She went to IU, so it makes sense that she would love basketball, but she's a true basketball gal. Like, she will watch it a lot more than you. We should swap. You should hang out with my wife for the weekend. She didn't need to watch anything. I'll go with your wife and we'll watch basketball all day, every day.
That's what I don't know if there's room for two of this person in a household. I think it works that it's balanced.
This is why you guys
wouldn't work. Yeah. You guys just watch basketball all day.
Right.
So we balance each other.
We keep each other honest.
Yeah,
we have to break away.
She grew up going to the Big Ten tournament a lot with her grandparents.
I love that.
So it became like a tradition, and they would just go and watch that slate of games that day. We hadn't been in a while, so we decided this year, like, let's just pick a day and go. And it just so happens we're going on Thursday, which should be the winner of this weekend's game. Ohio State or Indiana will be one of the games we're getting to watch at the 9 seed.
So that starts the day, and you said you're toying with the idea of, do we come home that same day? I mean, dude, you're talking about noon tip-off for the first one. It's a 4-game day. Those are 12-hour days of basketball, one session with a break, then the other session starts up. All these games get delayed. You see the universal basketball signal 100 times between those 4 games. Go to the replay monitor. Go to the monitor. They'll all get pushed back. You better get an Airbnb or a hotel. Do not make that drive back to Columbus.
You're preaching to the choir.
Midnight. Don't do it.
You're helping my cause because I'm sure she's listening.
The next day.
Yeah. So that was my thought too. And I think hotels were ridiculously priced, but I think we ought to be able to find something. We made this mistake when we went to see Taylor Swift in Cincinnati. So we went down there. I pretty much only got the invite because I was going to drive. Well, that's a long story, but we got lucky with the early ticket sale before the internet broke everything.
Yeah, of course you did.
We got the original ones.
No one that isn't an AI or a bot knows what that's like to be able to actually get tickets for face value for something like that.
So that's why it was held over my head that I needed to be enjoying it more than I probably was. But I was the driver. So we were driving there and we were going to drive back that night. But in hindsight, like, we're halfway through, Cruel Summer, and I'm already dreading the drive home. Right. So
how are you supposed to enjoy yourself?
Right. Yeah. How am I supposed to get the full effect of this once in a generation concert if I feel like now I have to drive? So I don't want that situation in Indy for the games. I want to be able to enjoy them and then just have a hotel to walk to. So yeah, it's still a discussion. Right now it's a one-sided discussion because she's not here and doesn't have a microphone.
All right. So football today, big day over at the Woody Dane. We had Coach Day kick things off, and then every single coach, not just the ones that got elevated. Every single coach was available. Spring football is 10 days away. Start of the first practice. It's going to be different because they got to manage a lot of guys that were a part of this team that made the deepest run ever to this point in college football in terms of games played and the last date they were playing on the calendar. So the big thing, of course, is we've known Brian Hartline. It's not saying that's not a big thing, him elevating to offensive coordinator, but the biggest thing is a new guy in the building at a very prominent role who's coached in many, many Super Bowls, 6 of them, and has 3 rings, part of Bill Belichick's dynasty with the New England Patriots. That's Matt Patricia. Kind of raised eyebrows that they went with that call, that move. This was Ryan Day, why he selected Patricia.
I felt like Matt was that guy for a lot of reasons. I think the first one is his experience, coaching 19 years in the NFL. He's coached in 6 Super Bowls, has 3 Super Bowl rings, but also, pairing him with Tim Walton as a co-coordinator, pairing him with Larry Johnson, Matt Guerrieri, James Laurinaitis. That was important to have continuity. And so part of that was having somebody that was willing to work with the guys that were in the room. That was very important. And I just want to make sure that I, really praise the guys in that room. And, having Tim Walton as a co-coordinator there is a huge part of our defense.
So Patricia obviously being very cool with having some other cooks in the kitchen coming in was a thing. Now I give you Matt. He just seemed right off the jump very personable, like a bubbly guy. Seemed like a super nice dude, had the pencil going behind his ear. He's thinned down a lot for people that have the image of him with the Detroit Lions. He kind of was making his rounds at the Super Bowl, had done Julian Edelman's podcast. So I think a lot of people had been seeing him here more recently saying like, wow, that Matt Patricia, he's lost a ton of weight. He has. He seems invigorated and ready to go.
I'm so excited to be here. I mean, just to be honest with you, I know I'm probably going to say it 1,000 times, but it's really the truth. Ohio State, everything that it represents, college football, it's kind of a long story for me. I've been in the NFL for a long time. I started off as a college coach. I actually coached with Coach Walton a long time ago at Syracuse University, so we go back, it might be almost 25 years now or longer. But for me, the NFL was great. I had a great run. It was a lot of fun. We won some big games, which was really cool. But I just love the college environment. I really got into coaching when I left engineering to, just pursue my passion of really working with young men.
And Patricia, the elephant in the room, some of his recent stops, mainly that head coaching stint with the Lions that blew up in his face, he admitted what how he wasn't his best version of himself. He said that he kind of learned a lot from that experience and learned that he needed to be a better teacher. I've talked to some other people here recently, too, that knew Matt Patricia that all kind of agreed like he wasn't really being the same guy that he was as a DC in New England. Thought he had to be something different and do some things personality-wise, different ways that he learned.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done it that way or tried it that way.
I could see how that could happen, especially being in the NFL that long. You can get kind of hardened to the process and the business and, trying to step in there and maybe be something that didn't come natural to you because you're like, well, I can't fail here. Or being like, you've seen it done a certain way. I need to make sure I command respect for these guys.
Yeah. Like you try to create this image about what the head honcho should be. Maybe it's a persona,
especially
type of
coming
shift.
from Belichick. I mean,
coming from Belichick,
maybe he's trying to be too much like Belichick.
Maybe
right?
so. Too brash.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know him personally at all. But I mean, you like what you hear. You want him to be excited about working with some of the young guys. We did have some of the current guys that were on the cruise with us this past week, and talking to them, the little they did get to talk to him, obviously impressed by just his knowledge of the game.
That's one other thing that you hear a lot. He's just a knower of ball.
Well, I think
big time ball knower.
Yeah, and I think both sides benefit from this. I think he will benefit by coming to the college game, this level.
Because it seems like he's really been curious about it.
Yeah, and getting to feel it out. And no better place to do it, obviously, at this point. And have tools around him to work with and have success. But also for those guys that are getting ready to make that NFL jump in the next year or so, whether it be a year or two, getting to talk to a guy and even hearing different lingo and just how they talk about the game, any different perspective is really helpful.
It's definitely pretty cool for him. We all want it to be pretty cool for us. Like, that's what we're shooting for, and I think it can be. And like you just said, I think it can be big for both. He was the part of one of the great dynasties in NFL history, gets to be part of one of the biggest brands and most historical programs in not just college football, but also football history here with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's keep it on this subject. Every single Buckeye football coach I mentioned spoke today. What did we miss? Maybe beneath the surface. Let's talk Beers and Buckeyes with Pat Murphy of 24/7 Sports and Bucknuts. See what he got from it. That's in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Life is more fun with a pal. So is pizza. So check out Donato's new $5 Pizza Pals menu. Order any large pizza and add on your choice of a sub, salad, wings, a 10-inch pizza, and more for just $5. It's the new $5 Pizza Pals menu from Donato's. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
No matter what you love about March Hoops, it's always mad, but we're always rooting for our Buckeyes. When you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to crack open a Coors Light and choose chill all tournament long. Join the ESPN Tournament Challenge presented by Coors Light for a chance to win cash, prizes, and even a flyaway trip to a mountain retreat. Just submit a photo of your broken bracket at CoorsLight.com/MarchHoops. Coors Light, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. 21 means 21. Celebrate responsibly.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Columbus area attorneys. 10 West Broad Street, Suite 1550, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. CordellCordell.com.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource. Proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Drink up, Slappy. It's time for Beers and Buckeyes with Patrick Murphy.
All right, usually our guy Pat is at a bar and partaking by the time we get to this segment on a Friday. What are you up to tonight, Pat? Thanks for joining.
First of all, I wouldn't say usually. I would say it happens sometimes.
Oh, let's just say almost every time, Pat. Come on, let's not kid ourselves. We enjoy tasty beverage.
In that light. Yeah, tonight I'm going to a show with some friends a little bit later, so we'll get the party started a little later than some weekends. Not all weekends there, Tim.
All right, good. Dinner and a show on a Friday. So we'll get to some of the others, but we started with Ryan Day and Matt Patricia. What are maybe the two biggest things that stuck out from Day and Patricia speaking today over at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center?
Well, it sounds like the two are in line in terms of what this defense is going to look like. And Ryan talked about, we talked to him first about there is an Ohio State defense, and he wants continuity in that. That's why he promoted Tim Walton, Matt Guerrieri. He mentioned the other coaches on the staff, but an opportunity to bring in someone like Matt Patricia, who has proven that he can mold defenses based on the personnel, something he did a lot with New England. And Matt Patricia talked about, that as well. I think, coming out of the interviews today, I feel a lot better about this situation. I was concerned maybe that, Matt Patricia, he was under Bill Belichick for all these years. How much of that was his defense versus Bill Belichick's? And obviously, we know how things went with Detroit. Not that is the position he's going to be in. He addressed some of that and saying, look, I took the Patriots mentality to a Detroit Lions team that wasn't anywhere in the same ballpark. And I think that, it's good to understand that he understands, that didn't work. And it was a learning moment for him. So, I think there is signs of optimism here for people that were maybe a little negative about the hire.
Yeah, Pat, could you expand on that part a little bit? Because I know we've listened to Coach Day talk a little bit, and he said exactly what you said. There's a Buckeye defense, or there's kind of a defense we have built in that we want to keep building on. So that sounds like, he's not bringing Matt Patricia in to teach everybody his defense. It's to be a compliment. Do you think that is kind of the plan with him, is to continue to mold the younger guys or his assistant coordinators as that being like the long-term succession? And can we kind of expect to see a continuation of last year's defense this year, even with some fresh faces?
Yes, I think, and Ryan mentioned this, like he looked at what Nick Saban did during that run. And, Ryan obviously being the offensive side of the ball, historically, he has this identity that the Buckeyes have, right? And so on the defensive side of the ball, he wants to establish that as well. And that was part of bringing Jim Knowles in when he did to kind of redo the defense in 2022. So now they have this identity. And as a defensive coordinator, I think unless something goes wrong, you're going to have to fit within that. But this defense was going to look different even if Jim Knowles was still the defensive coordinator. You lose 8 starters, right? So I think you have to kind of cater it to your players. And I think Jim Knowles did a good job of that while fitting it into his scheme. And I think that there will be some differences, no doubt about it. The big name that came out of today was probably CJ Hicks and the way that he may get used more on the edge and doing some different things, which I think makes sense with his skill set. And we've all kind of been waiting to see that. So there will be some differences, no doubt about it. But I do think that, you're not going to see Matt Patricia change everything, right? It's going to fit within what Ohio State has done and what this personnel dictates to be the best thing for Ohio State to win ball games.
Pat Murphy from Bucknuts is with us here for Beers and Buckeyes. All the other coaches spoke. I know you were going to try to go back and watch your videos and listen to the sound you got on your recorder to try to catch up, because there were 3 coaches speaking at one time, so you had to kind of pick one, listen in on it. You and I were kind of doing the same thing. I know we were both there while James Laurinaitis was talking. It was good to see him. and see what's on his mind, losing a guy like Cody Simon, but still having someone like a Sonny Styles coming back. What else did you gather from everybody that spoke today?
Well, James tried to take your job while the other guys were setting up. He stole
he stole the microphone. I know.
Yeah, he said, "Timmy, I got this. Don't worry." No, I think I mentioned the C.J. Hicks thing. James brought that up. Larry Johnson brought that up, saying he's spending time in the defensive line room, learning some of that stuff. So I think that is certainly something everyone will be keeping an eye on this spring. How will C.J. Hicks be used? Because this is a former 5-star kid who really hasn't had the opportunity, hasn't seized the opportunity to get on the field and really make plays. But I do think that, and kind of a hybrid between, sometimes he's rushing off the edge, sometimes he can do some linebacker things, makes a lot of sense for a player of his abilities. I think Brian Hartline, obviously, taking on the play calling role is big as well. Ryan Day said, he didn't want to go back to being the play caller. That was not the plan. I asked him about, why are you confident in Brian Hartline now versus a couple of years ago? And he talked about his work ethic and just kind of watching him, continue to work and grow as an offensive coordinator, even though he wasn't always calling plays. That's going to be big for the Buckeyes. You got a new quarterback, you've got new running backs, you'll have at least one new receiver in there, 2 new tackles. So having an offensive coordinator who can, call those plays, not that it's just one guy ultimately, but, I think those are probably some of the biggest things that stood out to me.
Pat, one of the biggest questions, I guess, that's pertinent right now is, with the season going so long, as is a historically long season for Ohio State, and everything kind of getting pushed back and everybody doing spring a little bit different this year, what can we expect to see this spring? And what can we expect to learn from this spring?
Well, Ryan Day said it's going to be different, and I think they need to look at this calendar for a number of reasons. Ryan Day talked about the transfer portal window being open while the Buckeyes are still playing, whereas most schools are not at that point. There's a lot that they need to look at, but the spring window and when you're allowed to do these practices and whatnot is probably another thing. But to answer your question, I think from a fan standpoint, it won't be too different. The spring practice will be condensed a little bit. They're not having the spring break in the midst of it. They're basically doing it all over the course of 4 weeks. But the spring game, spring showcase, whatever we're going to call it, that's probably the thing from fans' perspective that will probably look the most different to watching. I think they will still do something that is game-like. I don't know if it will be, hey, we're going to play 4 quarters, we're going to keep score. And they've done that a little bit in the past where, offense versus defense scoring and things like that. But Ryan Day said they need to get through spring to kind of see who's healthy, who's available. The guys that have played a lot probably won't do a ton, but they have a lot of guys that haven't played a lot, right? So they're going to need to get them reps. Ryan Day pointed out that first game is against Texas at home. They need guys who haven't played in the shoe to see what it's like, even in a spring game setting, to play in the shoe with fans. So still very important. It'll just look a little different and probably be over a shorter window.
Is it your opinion that we will?
Oh, keep going. Talk right on through.
That's a sound. That's an intro.
Keep on going. That just means Tom's is good.
I wanted to give him a chance to weigh in quick because obviously quarterback is a question for everybody. How much are we going to be able to learn from this spring, or is it your opinion that most of that battle and decision making will be saved for camp?
I think we'll get to learn a good amount. For those of us who are fortunate enough to have been at some practices in fall camp, we saw some really good things from Julian Sayin. We've seen, some of the athletic ability of Lincoln Kienholz. Okay, what's the next step for these guys? Where have they grown throughout the season where we didn't get to watch practice and we only saw them little bits in games? Is there more consistency in both of them as a passer? Things like that. One thing that came up a lot at the combine about Julian was his leadership, and he's just kind of a quiet guy by nature, but they need him to be more of a leader if he's going to be QB1. So how does that develop throughout spring? And I talked to Lincoln Kienholz, I think it was at the Rose Bowl, and he said, look, I'm the oldest guy in the room now, as crazy as that sounds. So I have to step up as a leader as well. So, yes, the quarterback, I think we will get to learn. Do I think we'll come out of it knowing who the starter is? Based on how Ryan Day's done things, I doubt it. But I think we'll be able to paint an even clearer picture by the end of spring.
Yeah, I'm just still going to go with I think we know. I think we know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has most people have the same opinion that Julian Sayin is the next guy up. And I think that's very fair based on his pedigree. And, look, he was the third quarterback on the depth chart and the other two are gone, right? So it makes a lot of sense. But look, Ryan Day has played this game, and I don't think this is a game. I think Lincoln is very capable of leading this team. But, Justin Fields was in a quarterback battle with Chris Chuganoff, right? And C.J. Stroud was definitely going to be the starter.
Yeah.
I forget who was, Jack Miller was in that room and a couple other guys, but C.J. was the guy. We all knew it. But I think putting those guys through that and making them compete and come out the other side, there's still value in that, even if everyone kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Make them practice, make them go out there and still earn that. I think we know. I jumped the gun back there.
I'll make up for it now.
And we're out of time, Pat, so I'll hit you with this. You were having a PBR on the Happy Hour, the Bucknuts Happy Hour podcast that you invited me so graciously onto earlier today. Did you know where the name Pabst Blue Ribbon comes from with the history of the beer? Did you know this factoid about it?
I do not know.
I didn't either. It's because there were actual blue ribbons that were tied around the bottle's neck in the late 1800s all the way up to 1916. And this beer came out in 1844. Originally was called Best Select, and then Pabst Select, and then Pabst Blue Ribbon. And Milwaukee, Wisconsin favorite. One of the great cheap beers ever made. So, Pat, thank you so much for the time tonight. Have a good time at the dinner and the show.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
Pat.
There he goes. Pat Murphy, our good friend from Bucknuts. That's why we do that thing, Dane.
I didn't know.
That's the tasty pour.
I got it now.
You had another question to ask, and I just wanted to hit the beer bong. That's what I wanted to do. Well, you know what we got coming up? We've got a very March Madness-esque version of the Power 5. Dudes ranking things, you and me, on a Friday night. Power 5 is next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Looking for a very special way to commemorate the 9th National Championship in Ohio State football history? Then check out the beautiful Ohio State timepieces at OxiaTime.com. Oxia has created a series of heirloom quality designs to celebrate the Buckeyes, including the limited edition Ryan Day autograph box sets. Equally impressive to the quality of their products is the quality of the people behind these watches. Go to OxiaTime.com to learn more on their backstory and claim your piece of Ohio State history. That's AXIATime.com.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick, but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Because there's nothing better to do on a Friday night, let's just rank 5 things. It's the Buckeye Show's Power 5.
There's one other thing that's great to do on a Friday night. That's let you know how you can treat your erectile dysfunction. Everybody wants to know that. My friends at Tri-State Men's Health, they are experts at treating that dreaded 2-letter acronym, ED, erectile dysfunction. It's a relationship destroyer. It can cause depression, arguments, breakups, even contribute to divorce. Nobody's got time for that. You don't want to see that happening. No, sir. So go to tristatemenshealth.com, start taking a look around. They got treatments with success rates well over 90%. They've got an expert staff there at the 2 locations right here in Central Ohio, Westerville and Hilliard. If you're like a lot of men, you could be doing it the day after your appointment. Man, that's some fast and efficient work, right? That's like a 85% free throw percentage. But hopefully you're even higher than 85%. Let's go for 95 or 100%. That's what we're trying to do here at Tri-State Men's Health. So check them out, tristatemenshealth.com. Dane Sanzenbacher is with me tonight. Always good to see you, man. So, because it's March 7th, and I'm here, if you guys are watching on YouTube, I know, like us being on at 6 o'clock, sometimes you start off listening on the radio. A lot of people tell me they get home, then they try to commandeer the big screen. If the rest of the family allows them, I say forget about the rest of the family. Just go. Just flip on your YouTube app and put the Buckeye Show on the TV and watch some more. Watch it all the way to the end of the program. You can see my quarter zip is the 1966 Texas Western National Championship hoodie. Or quarter zip, you know what I mean. That's the team that beat Kentucky. Don Haskins, Hall of Fame coach. Famous team. They did the Disney movie Glory Road about that Texas Western team.
Is this a throwback?
It's a throwback, yeah. They're now UTEP. That's what UTEP is now.
Okay.
And have been the Miners for the longest time. But I love this. I saw this on the website, the college basketball shorts and quarter zip website that I go to. I was drawn to it. It's a pearl white with orange accents on it. So I picked it up. And, I'm thinking about a lot of basketball things. And this is the week specifically where you've got women's basketball. The Buckeyes are playing tonight. We're getting ready for Ohio State and Iowa. That's at 8:45. The other thing on the men's side is smaller conference tournaments. So I said, what better thing to do for a Power 5 than to count down my 5 most badass or favorite mid-major programs. So that's what I'm doing. And you'd like to do it too.
I will. Yes. Why don't you kick it off?
I'm going to kick it off. And I will say I wrestled with this. I even got Bodie's insight to make sure I wasn't missing certain teams. For a best of the rest, I don't have them in my 5, but I thought long and hard about them. Wichita State. There's an example of one who here more recently, They had an undefeated season. Remember that when they were a 1 seed and then got knocked out by Kentucky in a classic 8-9 matchup. They've been really, really good and had a good history. But I start off with number 5. I actually start off 5-4 with 2 Ohio programs. I tried to at some point take looking up numbers and looking up stats out of it because I could have been doing that all day to get the absolutely correct list. I tried to go by feel and my image of what it makes a great mid-major. Dayton I have at number 5. Xavier I have at number 4. Maybe the fan bases are going to yell at me that, Dayton should be ahead of Xavier. And I can understand that because Dayton's got a Final Four in their history. I think they had a classic game against UCLA in an NIT championship game back in the day as well. And Dayton just recently had a 1-seed season that fell through the cracks because of the pandemic with Obi Toppin. Mm-hmm. They're both really, really good mid-major programs that I respect a lot. And I do think they're a couple of the best ever for mid-majors. Yeah. So Dayton 5, Xavier 4 to start my list off.
Okay. Mine want to do my 5 and 4 too, and we'll just kind of take it down.
Let's do it that way.
I only overlap one with you, and it's Dayton.
At 5?
At 5.
All right.
Yeah, because basketball is weird with mid-majors because it's not the same as like football mid-majors. That's a much like higher bar to clear. There's some like really, really dominant schools that are considered mid-majors in basketball.
Yeah, basketball mid-majors are doing a lot more in the sport than what the football counterparts.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have as much of a chance to get something done. Even as we've expanded to a 12 team, that would be like Boise State.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, nature of the game, maybe. My number 4 is Butler.
Yeah.
I went with Butler.
Absolutely.
Was it back-to-back years they had a Final Four
Back-to-back years they went to the championship game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they
just don't have, I think, as much of the history of conference championships, deep tournament runs, but it was really one of the great basketball minds that Bodie's Boston Celtics just could not. They had to have him. Mm-hmm. We're taking Brad Stevens. Mm-hmm. There's nothing you're going to do about it. And Brad wants to stay there for the rest of his basketball life, apparently.
I know.
But, I was super into those 2 seasons.
Me too.
For
and I'm like, what have you done for me lately? And that one's very up front of my mind of that kind of like change that program. And they're still considered, when Butler makes a run, you're not that surprised anymore.
Yeah. And they're actually hitting a point right now under Thad Matta where I'm really hoping that Thad can get them back pointed in the right direction because Chris Holtman, they were fresh in the Big East, and that was a big adjustment. Like right when you make that jump from being a mid-major to going in a power conference, that was sort of a combo conference, right? Because they took on...
did I get it wrong? Are they not a mid-major anymore?
No. I'm just saying
they were at the time.
I still consider them a mid-major.
Okay.
I think we're good. They went to a major conference, but the Big East lost a ton of big dog programs and sort of became a combo platter where they took the upper echelon of mid-majors to bring them in. And I think it was a great move at the time because it kept them a very good basketball conference. 3 and 2 for me. Creighton, number 3. Same type of deal where they were Missouri Valley and one of the more respectable Missouri Valley squads of all time. And then they got plucked to be in this newfound Big East, and they've been very, very good making that switch. Still consider them the mid-major. 2, probably the winningest one of all time on that's out there, and that's Temple. That's one that people forget about because Temple has certainly had a drop-off. But if you look at their historical success, the Chaney years,
they're all time. Like we were playing one of those like basketball trivia games, my wife and I on the app.
Top 10 all time in wins.
And Temple was in there. That was way over my head.
No one's going to get that one. But they dominated the A10, and that, of course, is Dayton's league as well. And Xavier had been in there, but that's really what I know them from. And then they moved to the American lately. But that's 3 and 2 for me.
Okay, my 3 and 2. My 3 you already mentioned, and I'm a field player too with these lists. I didn't look up a whole lot. I slotted Wichita State in for my 3.
That's good.
Because I feel like
the Shockers, baby.
And that was 50% of it was because that's just an all-timer.
Because you've just got like a head of wheat.
Yeah. And
their name is the Shockers.
Well, and how perfectly does that fit with somebody who's coming into a tournament as an underdog? I mean, it's just when they make their runs, it's a beautiful thing. And you're not
the other thing too, it's great.
You're not surprised to see him when they're in the tournament winning games. You're like, okay,
surprised?
I pick him in my bracket just because I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard of them. My number 2, this one might be a little bit maybe not as successful, but I really like the program as a whole because truthfully, I didn't know you were going just basketball. I should have assumed. But my number 2 is James Madison because as of recent, they had such success as a football and basketball, like back-to-back years. They knocked off Wisconsin in the tournament, and making the tournament was a big thing for them. And then they went something like 11 or 12-1 as their football program. Their coaches get poached. I think their basketball coach then is now at Vandy. You probably know who he is.
Oh, yeah, Byington.
Yeah. So he was there, and then obviously Signetti moves on to Indiana and has success there. So as far as smaller programs,
you just misunderstood the assignment for it being basketball only because I could not in any way that total surprise to hear James Madison that high up. If it was just basketball. But the football program, you're right. I come from a JMU family, and it's cool to see what's going on with their athletics program in general.
I'm right about this, too. This is my list.
I know. Their basketball actually should, in my opinion, have always been better historically, but it had been getting better as the whole athletics department have been popping up. But no, consider me very, very surprised. Super surprised.
Do you think we have the same number 1? Do you want to say it on 3?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
John Stamos.
Really?
Yeah.
He's my favorite. Black leather jackets and white V-necks.
Why didn't you say anything?
3, 2, 1, Zaga.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
Easy one, right? They're actually a mid-major. That doesn't make sense. They played their way out of being a mid-major while never leaving the tiniest type of conference. They stayed in the West Coast Conference. They're a mid-major, and they are a power player, blue blood, whatever. The only thing they hadn't done is won the whole flipping thing. Jake Taylor.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they haven't done. That's a good Power 5 right here. We trek on. Ryan Day brought up something today about their run to the championship and something that didn't quite add up for him. We're keeping our finger on the college football pulse next. Dane Sanzenbacher is in. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmother.com. Go Bucks!
1-800-GOT-JUNK makes space for possibilities.
When our clean, shiny truck arrives, it's the sign of a new beginning, a clean start, a breath of fresh air.
All the animals start giggling, a rainbow appears, and music fills the air.
Your best friend calls with happy news. Every table has fresh flowers on it, and your nights are full of candlelight.
We bring the springtime.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
No matter what you love about March Hoops, it's always mad, but we're always rooting for our Buckeyes. When you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to crack open a Coors Light and choose chill all tournament long. Join the ESPN Tournament Challenge presented by Coors Light for a chance to win cash, prizes, and even a flyaway trip to a mountain retreat. Just submit a photo of your broken bracket at CoorsLight.com/MarchHoops. Coors Light, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. 21 means 21. Celebrate responsibly.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good evening, everybody. Wells. We'll start with college basketball. It's a big couple of days here for both the Ohio State men and women. First up, after earning the double bye, the Ohio State women begin Big Ten tournament play tonight. It's the Buckeyes against the Iowa Hawkeyes in the quarterfinal round. Tip-off is set for 9 o'clock or so. Matt Andrews will have the call for you starting at 8:45 right here on The Fan. As for the OSU men, they play their regular season finale tomorrow afternoon. It's a road matchup against the Indiana Hoosiers. Tip-off for that game is at 3:45. Our fan coverage gets started at 2:45 tomorrow with Timmy Hall on the warm-up show. Both Ohio State and IU are right on the bubble for the NCAA tournament, so it'd be a big win for the Buckeyes if they can get it done. NBA tonight, the Cavaliers go for their 13th straight win as they're on the road against the Charlotte Hornets. Tip-off is right now here at 7. And in soccer, the Columbus Crew host the Houston Dynamo tomorrow afternoon. Kickoff at the LDC is at 2:30. Breaking sports news, what happens right here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Hour 2 of the Buckeye Show. Timmy Hall, Dane Sanzenbacher, the Bode man back there. If you miss anything ever at all on the Buckeye Show, you can simply download the podcast anywhere you get your audio, and then it's right there on your device. Subscribe, download. It is completely free. Bode man, I've got some things here on my end that we can listen to and react to because it was like we talked before, a pretty big day down at the Woody where Ryan Day and all of the assistant coaches were talking. I actually don't have the exact audio of this one, but the one that caught me on the drive in was the subject of the calendar. And think about it this way. Day was saying, the way that he phrased this was that we started and finished, or we weren't even done playing our season by the time the transfer portal window opened and closed. And it's actually worse than that because the transfer portal window in December starts in December and ends in December. They had 75% of their playoff games in the month of January. So
maybe this wasn't
even close for them to fully utilize the transfer portal window and have that be something that really worked for them.
Maybe this is the natural built-in parity maker. You know, the NFL has, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, if you're so good, yes, you get a lower pick if you're good. You missed the transfer window because you're playing so long.
Forget about the lottery, right? We don't need the lottery. You want to keep playing, you don't get good players.
Right. You can't do the draft. So if you just are still playing and you don't get to participate, you're already good. You don't need these guys. I don't know.
But that's sort of the hot take, Dane.
I just thought of it.
Ideology behind it. A lot of the other things,
well, because the obvious answer is, they got to fix it. It's not fair.
Right. So what are you looking at in trying to fix it? Let me go back and give you the athletics director at Ohio State, Ross Bjork, who was just at the radio station yesterday, right at 7 o'clock. He was with Morning Juice. You can watch back on their podcast or their YouTube cast or their podcast to hear the entire thing. But Ross noting this about the calendar.
Football calendar, we need some major changes. When do we start the season? I think can be moved up a week. There's no reason that some years you're starting on August 30th, and then the next year you're starting on September the 5th. We need to fix the calendar based on the number of weeks. We need 2 bye weeks into the season. Could we move up the start of the playoffs, perhaps? Right? You got to look at that. So I think we started class on January 6th. We had 2 games after we started class here at Ohio State. So again, just the overall calendar. I don't think we need to finish next year. I think we finish right around the 24th or 25th of January.
Yeah, the Vegas game is really late.
So to me, we need to at least move it up at least a week, the overall calendar. I think we can adjust the playoff format. Can you have 7 or 8 days in between versus 10? So there's a lot of things, but finding those TV windows, matching up against the NFL, that's a trick. And we need to make sure we get that right because it is a behemoth. And we need to make sure that our viewership is strong and the windows are strong. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. The commissioners are working on it. We're providing ideas. But the football calendar, we shouldn't have signing day in the middle of all of this, right? Now we have the transfer portal. When does the transfer portal fit in? So if you actually took January 1st to December 31st, we can make this a lot better, and we need to really start to go to work on that now.
Yeah, December 31st to January 1st seems like a tough one for that time for the college football season where you're heading towards your most important games and you're trying to think about a million different things. And the thing that I noticed earlier is there was some talk about possibly removing the spring transfer portal window and trying to go to just one, which
doesn't make any sense.
Help me out, Bodie, and help me out, Dane. I don't understand that because the one that is not working is the one that forced Bo Pribula from Penn State to leave Penn State in the middle of their championship run. He didn't want to do it. It's just that he found out that Drew Aller was going to come back for another season. So he knew that he was getting to a certain point in his career where he could start at a pretty good place. So he chose to take a peek around and made his choice because that's when the portal window was. But post-spring is another opportunity where I think you have more time to breathe and really analyze like where you stand with a program because not only did a season end if you were staying over, then all of spring practice ended. You are starting to get a clearer picture. Coaches have come in. They've been able to evaluate and start the road of developing you a little bit more. And then you can choose. Make a choice there. I don't want to see that window go away.
What window do you like? What kind of window do you like the best, Bodie?
I don't know.
You know what my favorite window is?
None.
This one I get to look at you through.
Thank you, Dan. Right back at you.
He's a good, clean boy, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the thing, I completely agree, Timmy. And with the spring one, I think it's, if you're a guy that's third or fourth on the depth chart, I think it's pretty easy to kind of get lost in the mix a little bit throughout the fall because you're pouring everything into beating whoever you're playing on Saturday. But throughout the spring, that's your chance to maybe make a move on the depth chart.
Yeah,
and
you're shooting for that backup position potentially
and if you still
for
can't
third or
make
fourth.
that move, then it's like, okay, it's probably time to transfer at that point if you want to leave. Some guys, are just cool.
Because there's a lot of
backup on a big program, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. No, but what if I'm a 4-star guy that actually wants to go for playing time, and at a big program, I am stuck on at a third string level, and I never see the field.
Yeah, and the spring one is actually after the semester. Like I have no clue why they would want to get rid. Yeah, I know. Class. What
are they talking about?
School.
And I think that's the problem. Is like.
That's the problem, school, right? We're trying to
win national championships.
Be honest. We're looking at this. I'm not saying that if you get a scholarship and you're an athlete, it is to each their own. I would like to think that I would go to all my classes and really try to get a true and honest degree while I'm getting that education paid for, because there's still, whenever it's over, there is going to be after football. Sam Hubbard just retired at 29 years old, right? Who was the kid from Wisconsin that played 1 year?
Oh, the linebacker.
Yeah, the old linebacker. Played a year and was done, right? You know that there's going to come a point in time where you might say, I wish I had that in today's world. But we do know that the transfer portal thing kind of hinges on the athletic part of it. So why are we so stuck on, the academic calendar is right here, so we got to make it fit? No, we're talking about college football. The whole purpose of this is to meet the athletic side of it. Then there's also an academic side of it, but there needs to be some kind of grace period where they can get both to work in unison. And that is moving the season up. I think that's step one, is it's got to move up. And then move the whole championship windows up as well. I don't know if you could get it all done by New Year's Day. That's probably too early.
You can get closer, though, than January 20th.
Oh, yeah.
And then
you can get to like January 7th,
Ross
probably.
And Bobby mentioned that it was next year's even later. I love college football, man, but the whole fact that Ohio State and Notre Dame both played the regular season game on November 30th.
I mean, we
then played their last game, actual game on January 20th.
Maybe January 1 is the answer. Maybe it is.
I mean, I think one thing that they could do that they never will do, because we can't give up any money, fellas, is just get rid of conference championship games. And you could use that as a bye. I kind of don't mind having a couple weeks in between the end of the regular season and the playoff, just because I think it's good to let teams get healthy and whatnot. But I know they'll never get rid of conference championship games because they make way too much money off of them. But it's hit a point now where I just don't really know if we need them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk all day long, because like there's probably more to fix if you're trying to make it perfect, and it gets more and more confusing.
Which I don't think it needs to be, but.
No, but I think you're definitely right about, and what everybody's agreeing on, and I'm sure they can make some meaningful changes just to get it a little earlier. I don't think there's anybody that's like fighting hard to have this season go until the end of January. I mean, we work it in, and we had both of our teams were in it, which was like best case scenario, right? And I say both of our teams is like mine and then yours, Bodie, remember?
Yeah. You could actually have more of a spring football if you could get this seison to get finished with soon.
I'm sure Ohio State's the same way, but like Notre Dame in the last couple weeks, as I follow it, they've been like, they don't even know if they're going to use all 15 practices, because it's like we can't.
Well, what I was saying is like we were,
and that doesn't make any sense.
Like the season just ended.
Then let that window go deeper.
Yeah.
Let that window continue on. Like, what's the point? What do we care when you're using your 15 practices?
Yeah.
If your players are going to be around and in the college town, and like most of them are, right? Nobody's going, I'm going home for summer break. No, you're a college football player. You're getting paid $500,000 in NIL money. You're staying.
Timmy, you can't have that attitude and then be like, well, if I was a player, I would take my education so seriously. And then on the other hand, you're like, it's football. Who cares about when they go back to class? We're talking about which side you want.
I'm not
Can't have them both.
No,
are you looking out for the player, or are you saying who cares? You don't get to go see your family. You don't get to have a break.
I want a little bit of both every now and then.
Oh, the guy wants it all.
They're being paid to play football, but you also get to go to class. That's
they're
up to
not.
you.
No. They're not being paid to play football.
What are they being paid to do?
They're being paid for their just value for their name, image, and likeness. Stop it.
Although actually, they will start being paid for football though here soon.
Not yet.
Technically, starting at some point this year, right?
That's how these first few years of NIL have been, right? Just for that endorsement deal, and then you get your cash. Not just we give you sack of cash, then can you do this, and this for me? That's how it is. Okay, something's coming next summer. I feel I owe it to all Buckeyes to put out a word of warning. Tell you why next. Sanzenbacher's in. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Are you turning 65? Are you looking for Medicare Advantage coverage? Great news! The Ohio State Health Systems and Mount Carmel Health Systems are in our provider network. Aetna has Medicare Advantage plans that include prescription drug coverage with a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, the plans include benefits like dental, vision, and hearing. Call Aetna today at 1-888-76-AETNA to learn more. One of our licensed agents will answer your call. Call today, 1-888-76-AETNA. Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Our D-SNPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area. Participating healthcare providers are independent contractors and are neither agents nor employees of Aetna. The availability of any particular provider cannot be guaranteed, and provider network composition is subject to change. Other physicians, providers are available in our network.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
Life is more fun with a pal. So is pizza. So check out Donato's new $5 Pizza Pals menu. Order any large pizza and add on your choice of a sub, salad, wings, a 10-inch pizza, and more for just $5. It's the new $5 Pizza Pals menu from Donato's. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
The Jackets are fighting for a playoff spot, and they need your help. Send your supportive love waves through the radio by listening to Jackets coverage here on The Fan. If they lose, it's your fault. No pressure. The Fan.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmother.com. Go Bucks!
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Light rain showers, cloudy skies, and a cool, damp finish on this Friday. Temperatures holding in the low to mid 40s, down to the low 30s by Saturday morning. Rain and snow showers ending by then. During the day on Saturday, plenty of clouds early, some sunshine late, but it will be chilly with highs only in the low 40s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
A show that knows its enemy.
They hate us, we hate them. That's the way it's got to be.
It's Michigan, obviously. I even hate them, and I'm the impartial voice guy. Yuck. Back to the Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light.
Timmy Hall, Dane Sanzenbacher, our man, the Bodeman back there on the switches. I told you last year, I'm going to tell you one more time, because I care about men's health in this city, and I want all the dudes out there to be taken care of as well as they can be, because that dreaded 2-letter acronym, it'll get you. ED, erectile dysfunction, and it is something that can cause so many problems. If you've ever had it, you might remember the first time you failed to perform in the bedroom. Oh, man, you probably laughed it off. No big deal. But then it happened a second time, third time, or more. Now you know this is a problem. This could be a stickler. Well, maybe that's what you actually want it to be. Hey-oh, in your relationship. But check out TriStateMen'sHealth.com. They've got 2 lovely locations right here in Central Ohio, the one in Westerville, the one right there in Hilliard. I've seen them for the low testosterone treatment, and they've got lots of mints. The facility's so clean and lovely, and you can take all their mints as you're leaving and going home.
Sometimes that's enough to get you coming back.
And they'll just replenish them. And if not, I have a thing of sucking candies back at the desk. I'll take them to the office, and then they'll just have assorted sucking candies and not just mints. So a little bit of variety.
A lot happening here.
But TriStateMen'sHealth.com, they've got treatments with success rates over 90%. Some of them can have you last an hour or more. The first visit is $99. You get the TMPSA test. If medically advised, the dose. And if that doesn't work in the office, that visit is free. So check them out, TriStateMen'sHealth.com. Why are you passing me notes? I'm not smart enough to do this on the fly.
If that's because we need to be on the same page as co-hosts.
No.
And it needs to come off as authentic.
Why are you redacting the names in my story here? That's public knowledge.
Because Tim, sometimes, we can do your segment, but sometimes you need to remember that I did play football. I am not a co-host just as a co-host. I am I have skin in the game and friends in the game.
Oh, and I don't think that those friends would be all that upset about it.
Okay.
Because they lived it. It happened. Well, what I was going to say and what I was going to make all Buckeye football players and all Ohio State athletes weary of is there is a honeypot that is coming back to Columbus soon. I've seen in the news. Yes, like. Back with a vengeance. You guys could do some Googling and search up the old Bogey Inn. Oh, yes. The Bogey Inn is coming back. It's going to be rebuilt. It closed down in 2022. I mean, this thing is a staple, right? Like a Columbus institution, especially for the Memorial Week. That's really when it thrives. And I believe Urban Meyer would go up and see Sister Hazel there. Like he's a big fan of that band. Like he would, if they would be playing around the Memorial, Urban Meyer would not be missing that. But there have been more than a couple Buckeyes that have picked up some arrests hanging out at the Bogey Inn. So it's just like a sweet siren that's there. Like, hey, have one more beer. Just keep partying. Just keep on hanging out. And then before you know it, some public urination going on later, and you've got some trouble. So I'm always worrying whenever it's Memorial Week that we don't read or hear about any Buckeyes popping up on the radar. And you know what? We really, knock on wood, haven't had a lot of that since we kind of hit this NIL era. I don't know if there's something.
Because players used to be fun, man.
Players used to be fun. Now they're.
They used to be college students. Now they're not.
Now we're in it for the cash. I don't know if there's some kind of added maturity that hits you when you're getting paid.
Yeah, people don't talk about that, like how boring newspapers have gotten because
there are no newspapers, so they are very boring.
You're not getting any of the news of like, oh, wait, this happened to who? You don't see it anymore. So there's like little losses, with the changes of college football.
There, Dane, I kept the names out of it. Are you happy now?
Thank you. Well, okay.
Anyone can just go. Every person listening hears the Bogey Inn and Buckeye football players, and they know exactly who had some issues there.
While I'm here, I am not going to tee up their personal lives. You're an only child, right?
I'm not teeing them up. I've texted some of these guys. It happens. It happens. It's okay. It's fine.
If I was one of the guys, would you talk to me about it on this show?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Have you talked to DeVere about tattoos?
All the time.
On the show?
All the time. Dane, we're playing the game of radio. Like, if we can't be an open book, what good are we? We were talking about genitalia a couple of days ago.
That's what you're into, though. So it's like that's what you like to do.
It's not what I like to do. It was just a natural conversation that popped up.
Okay.
It was just completely natural.
I'm saying if it was your
we were just talking about genitalia at the beginning of the segment.
Well, I didn't play football
being paid to do
with a genitalia. Well, I mean, don't cut that, but you know what I mean.
No, I don't. I don't know what you mean.
I'm just saying if it was like your brother, yes, it happened and it's Googleable, but you wouldn't want to be the one to rehash it to everybody.
Oh man, I would.
Would you? And maybe you would.
I might look forward to the chance to do it because there's all sorts of there's great stories for how it came to be and how it happened. All I'm saying is on two parts with this. The Bogey Inn is coming back in 2026. It looks crazy cool. I think it's the same company that does Pins Mechanical.
It looks ridiculous.
And the second part is from this. So first thing I thought was, my goodness, Buckeye football players, just all Buckeye athletes, beware. Anyone with anything to lose, beware. Even people with good jobs out there. Be careful when you're hanging out at the Bogey Inn because apparently you can have such a good time there, you can make some bad decisions. So be on the lookout. And two, does this ever happen to you where you have an idea that's maybe lived in your head for years and years and years? Maybe you tell a couple of friends about it, but you don't have any sort of way to the means, the money, the time to act on this idea. It's just an idea. Mm-hmm. And you might even sit around and wonder, I wonder if anyone's going to eventually do something.
Yeah,
like
I have
that,
an
or
idea
kick the starters.
for an ice cream and soda shop called Sprinkles and Drinkles that I've just never acted on.
Sprinkles and Drinkles.
Yeah.
Maybe we could sip on some scissor when we're there as well.
Yeah, all kinds of
because you've got
sweet treats.
Sprite.
Yeah.
all
So now when that pops up in Columbus, I'm going to be like, well, that was my idea.
So are we talking like with your thing, or are we talking about like a combination of floats, that type of thing?
Yeah.
Like we don't have to just do a root beer float, because I'm a fan of doing soda floats of all kinds.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
vanilla ice cream with Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
Vanilla ice cream with
That's the
Sunkist
Drinkles.
soda.
Yeah, it's Drinkles.
I've never tried a Sprite float.
I
you?
haven't eaten, no. But that could be available.
So that's kind of what this idea is. All right, might need another.
It was more
element
of
to
a,
it.
yeah.
We'll try.
Yeah, well,
But this idea, I've had this one.
Okay.
Because I
Explain
can't
to the folks what it is.
I can't see. There wasn't a ton of detail as to what exactly it is, but in the renderings, there is some kind of either putting course or pitch and putt course that is going to go in with the new bogey in. And I have always had this idea to kind of go out into the country a little bit, because the off the beaten path breweries, microbrews, have become a thing in America. Like even here in Columbus, we've got a lot more urban, like centrally located breweries. Like think about Franklinton, where Brewdog is, where Land Grant has always been. But I'm thinking like going out into the country a little bit where you got some land and you actually build a reel where it's not synthetic grass. This one might be synthetic, and maybe that's the savvy way to go for the business side of it. But a pitch and putt, 9 holes, or even like an 18-hole putting course that's not your run-of-the-mill mini golf course. So it's something that golfers and non-golfers would enjoy.
Yeah, so what it says, and I'll read you the post from the Bogey Inn from 4 days ago. It says, from legend to legacy, we're reviving the Bogey Inn with an expanded 36-hole putting course.
Whoa, yeah, 36 holes.
A food hall and bars designed for year-round play.
See, that is...
More space, more fun, more reasons to gather opening summer 26. Food halls are something that have caught on quite a bit around Columbus. And I think they've been a huge success.
Will they build an apartment complex above it? Because I would very much like to live there.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Tim? Probably at the Bogey.
They're going to have to do something, but 36 holes, it can't just be a standard, it can't just be 36 greens. I think it's got to be some bit of a miniature golf.
Well, think about it this way. If you build, and I know some of the premier golf complexes in the country are now putting in these things that they would call punch bowls. So while you're waiting for your round, you can practice and play on this immaculate putting surface, and you can sort of set it up differently any day that you want. So you can make the course change around and cut different holes in that green. That's if you have a real green. So that's another level. That could be something that could set my place up, set it apart from the rest, because I would imagine a lot are going to go synthetic, because there's a lot of synthetic makers out there.
I would think.
I've got the green in my backyard. That, of course, is synthetic. I can't be out there maintaining a putting green. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I have to have so much equipment. But if this was part of the business, part golf, part brewery or distillery, oh, man, I think it could be good.
I don't think it will have a lack of interest.
Who would come to my place? And what would I call it? Those are the things that I need to figure out. But this is a little bit like that, what the Bogey's going to be doing. All right, folks, we got the Buckeye basketball team. They could very well be playing for an NCAA tournament bid tomorrow night at Indiana. What are the chances that they get it done? Adam Jardy, who covers the team for the Dispatch, he'll join us in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Come on over to Heartland. Join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Life is more fun with a pal. So is pizza. So, check out Donato's new $5 Pizza Pals menu. Order any large pizza and add on your choice of a sub, salad, wings, a 10-inch pizza, and more for just $5. It's the new $5 Pizza Pals menu from Donato's. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Hi, welcome to IKEA.
Look at that selection of outdoor furniture.
Yeah, whatever your space or budget, you'll find a setup for outside.
How about an outdoor chaise lounge for my...
Get some sun side.
Yeah, and a table for my...
Come on over, I'm grilling side.
And outdoor lights for my...
Date night on the patio side.
Ooh, you're good.
I try. We've got what you need to create an outdoor oasis. Plus, delivery starts at $19 when you shop online or choose to pick up at your local store today.
Go to IKEA-USA.com for more details. Restrictions apply. Some products may require assembly.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The show where we pay people extra to host with Timmy Hall. This is the Buckeye Show.
Dane Sanzenbacher, the lucky one tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. We got a big basketball game tomorrow. I don't believe it. Adam Jardy of the Dispatch, we actually get a Saturday game. Have you traveled out to B-Town yet, or are you going tomorrow, Adam?
I just crossed the state line as I was waiting to come on the air with you. I just got into Indiana.
Oh, my goodness. Well, be careful out there. And I think you're too late. I think the Hoosier Gym is going to be closed by the time you pass the Knightstown exit.
Hoosier gyms are never closed.
So one of these years I'll figure that out. I'll time it up perfectly, but I don't know. Not this year.
You've never stopped at the Hoosier Gym, Adam? It would be the perfect ode to the late, great Gene Hackman here this week.
Yeah, it really would be. I wonder if they had to have some kind of memorial there for him this week. I mean, that would have been really cool to see. But I wanted to see the kids when I got off the bus before I hit the road. So sometimes you got to skip on the Hoosiers to hang out with the kids.
No doubt you do. But what do you think? What do you think is going to be the biggest issue? I mean, last time this was at the Schottenstein Center. It was a devastating loss for Ohio State. But Ballo is a problem with his size for Indiana. Renew, if he's healthy and good to go, he can cause some issues. We talk about it a lot here, Adam. It kind of comes down to the front line for Ohio State and what they're ready to give you.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I mean, I think if they can get somewhat similar contribution like they got from Stewart and Bradshaw against Nebraska, now I don't think they're going to get 50 minutes to get those kinds of numbers, but they combined for a pretty decent effort for the most part against the Cornhuskers. And I thought, at least in the first half, Bradshaw played pretty well. I thought Stewart, still gets an unfavorable whistle a lot, but I thought he played pretty well too. And I think if they can get, I was thinking about this yesterday, if they can get 20-plus minutes out of Sean Stewart, I think they got a shot tomorrow. I think it could be as simple as that. They need him on the court, playing big, attacking the glass the way that he does. I think that would give them a shot to steal this one here tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the first time around, Ohio State wasn't completely healthy when they played here in Columbus. But what do you see as some of the bigger differences between that game and the one coming up this weekend?
Yeah, that's a great point. Having, I think, a healthy Devin Royal certainly makes a big difference. So I'm interested to see his impact in a game like this. That game, when they played the first time, was fascinating to me because Indiana was really kind of heading in one direction, and they had just lost multiple games. They've been blown out in consecutive games, and a lot of questions about Mike Woodson and what was going to happen there. And, now we know what that all is. And to me, I think Indiana comes into this, even though they're both on the bubble, I think they come into it, just a more sure ground underneath them where they know the drill, or they know the situation, they know what's happening with the program. So now my question isn't so much like, can they recover from the devastating losses they had earlier in the week, but can they play with the right amount of confidence and not let the moment get too big for them? Because I don't know what this environment's going to be like tomorrow. I mean, saying goodbye to Mike Woodson, even after they've wanted him gone for a while now, some of the fan base.
It's strange.
Like, it's going to be an environment unlike anything I can really compare to right now. And I don't know like how Indiana responds to that, because this has been such an up and down team. And I'm as fascinated by that as anything. Like, to be covering the team that is like the side story to the huge, program altering story is just going to be a really interesting, odd dynamic tomorrow.
Here's what's interesting to me. Adam Jardy of the Dispatch talking some Buckeye basketball with us here on the Buckeye Show, is how these two teams are rated right now. I'm looking at KenPom, and that's a place where a lot of basketball people look at to find out where teams are stacked. Ohio State's 34th right now. Indiana, with a better record at 18-12, is 46th. So just because there's one win-loss difference in those columns doesn't mean the resumes are the same. That's why I think this one kind of gets them in, Adam. I'm not saying that'd be a good look to lose your first one in the Big Ten tournament, but you get that extra rest, you get to that 8-9 game, probably gets you in if you get this done. I don't know what that means for them going forward, because I don't like the way they're defending right now, but what do you think about what I just said?
Yeah, I think you're right. And some of that, too, is you're competing with Indiana for one of those final spots in the tournament. That's certainly what it looks like right now. Both those teams are in similar positions on the bubble, and in a lot of ways their resumes are pretty similar. So certainly if you're Ohio State and you beat a team that you're neck and neck with for one of those spots, and your records are essentially identical, that puts you in a pretty good spot. You feel pretty confident where you are going into the Big Ten tournament if you win this game and you're Ohio State. It would also be a quad one game, I believe, for Ohio State, and that would move them up to, I think, 7-10 in quad one. And that's, we're really getting to the weeds there, I think, for a lot of people, but that's a pretty decent win-loss record if you're trying to sift through bubble resumes. That puts Ohio State in a pretty decent spot.
So this Ohio State team has had some success, some big success on the road, and some struggles. And I think they've kind of been hit or miss when they go and play at Assembly Hall. How important is it, and how do they go about handling the environment that you've talked about? Because I believe also, and I only know this because I'm married to a Hoosier that is a big-time Hoosier fan. Not only is this going to be Mike Woodson's last game as a coach there, his last game as a player in Assembly Hall was that 79-80 season, also against the Buckeyes. So there's a lot of outside or off the court stuff in the air in Assembly Hall this weekend.
Well, I didn't realize that. That's a really cool tie-in there. You should get a job as a writer. That's good stuff.
Yeah, Google.
Who won that game, though?
The Hoosiers.
The Hoosiers won that one, too.
I think it was Clark Kellogg and the Buckeyes. I'd have to look up if he was on that 79-80 team, but I think he was.
That sounds right, yeah.
I mean, all that stuff, I think, just makes this such a fascinating game. I mean, I think with all the games that are going to be played this weekend that will impact who goes where in the tournament and who makes the NCAA tournament, there's so much extra stuff around this. And that's what makes me wonder, like, Ohio State hasn't had a lot of recent success at Assembly Hall, and the Hoosiers haven't necessarily been a world-beating team this year. We've seen them take some pretty, embarrassing losses at times. Mm-hmm. I'm just really interested to see how Ohio State handles all that, because this team has certainly had its issues on the road, but those blowout losses were pretty much early in the season. I feel like they've kind of figured that out, and I feel like they have a pretty strong sense of self. I think they know kind of what they're about and what it takes. It doesn't mean they're going to win, but I have a hard time imagining at this point of the season Ohio State getting blown out. And I think the longer they can hang around in a game like this, I think the pressure just ratchets up on Indiana to not blow it when they're playing for Mike Woodson's final game. And so maybe that's a thing where if this is a 6-point game with 10 minutes left, that I would think would tend to favor Ohio State, given the way that I think they've played here these last couple of weeks.
I think when I was breaking down Indiana's resume recently, the only two that really blew me away were the late ones that they just got. The roadie against Michigan State, obviously, and then home against Purdue, which they looked very, very good in that performance. Other than that, I mean, they had the road win against us. That was probably the next best one. They didn't have one of those eye-popping non-conference wins like Ohio State did against Kentucky, and then the win that didn't necessarily hold up the way we wanted it to, the first one of the season against Texas.
Yeah.
But 3:45 tomorrow, Assembly Hall. It's going to be cooking. Adam, you're on the road, so did we hit a window, fast food? Did you eat with the fam before you left, or what's the roadside stop
Adam,
here for
Adam,
food?
can I make a suggestion? Are you going to be able to spend some time in Bloomington when you get there?
There is a record store in Bloomington that I always hit before a game, so I will get into downtown Bloomington for a little bit.
Right on campus there?
A record store.
So it's right next to Nick's, I believe. You got to go in Nick's and sink the biz, man.
Okay.
They'll know exactly what you're talking about. I'll explain it, but it's like there's a bucket in the middle, and it's like the community beer bucket, and you play a game like jump a little bit into this floating cup, and whoever makes the cup sink, you've got to like chug your beer or something like that.
Oh, that
very famous in Bloomington.
That sounds just like what Adam is looking for at this stage of his life.
People like it. You can buy like to-go sets. I want him to get the full feel of the campus.
Right. Just take yourself back to college days, Adam.
Well, it's generally frowned upon that I drink right before a game, so unfortunately that's probably not going to work out. But I will keep that in mind for future visits because that sounds awesome. Next time.
Adam, thanks a lot for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, great to talk to both of you. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Adam.
Good stuff. There goes Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch. That does sound fun, though. Let's do it. Don't turn your microphone off.
It's very popular on campus there, and it's like a legendary thing to do. It'd be like I don't know, what are things we have here that are just traditions that you've got to do when you're on campus?
Well, I mean, this isn't one that you can do unless you're here at the time. And no, you can't because they don't do it anymore. But I was thinking of the Mirror Lake jump.
It's similar to that.
But that's not something, that's not a place you can go to where it's always there.
It's like,
it's a little game
so
you
that's
can play
like a
or thing you can
tradition.
do.
Yeah, it's like they have, and they sell like to-go buckets that like you can take this set home. But it's like if you have like that bucket right there, that Coors Light steel.
like our Coors Light bucket.
Right. So it's water, and you have a cup that's floating in it.
No, I get it.
As you fill it up, pretty soon it submerges itself,
and then you chug.
Well, if you could sip it if you want.
Why would I do that? Why would I half-ass it when I can go all the way?
I never thought I'd have to defend a fun game like this so much, but
I don't want to see.
Sorry, Adam, don't do it.
I'm not allowed to do things like that because if Tim the Tank makes an appearance, that's not good for anybody. We got to keep him locked in the shed.
No, Kansas Tim would love Sink the Biz.
That alternate
I don't know who this
is in the past.
This square is, but Kansas Tim would have sunk the biz.
Kansas Tim was all right. We had a system set up where we would send a scout. You know, why don't I tell this in the next segment?
Please do.
Why don't I tell this story, the Kansas me story in the next segment? We got a guy at Ohio State, though, that's always doing cool stuff. I want to tell you what he's up to next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
This is a Craver service announcement. Stop what you're doing and get 10 cheese sliders for a new low price of just $7.99. Your choice of melty American, spicy jalapeno, or cheddar cheese. Only $7.99 for 10 cheese sliders. White Castle. Follow your crave.
Looking for a very special way to commemorate the 9th National Championship in Ohio State football history? Then check out the beautiful Ohio State timepieces at OxiaTime.com. Oxia has created a series of heirloom quality designs to celebrate the Buckeyes, including the limited edition Ryan Day autograph box sets. Equally impressive to the quality of their products is the quality of the people behind these watches. Go to OxiaTime.com to learn more on their backstory and claim your piece of Ohio State history. That's AXIATime.com.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick, but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
The Jackets hit the road for a battle with the Rangers. Live fan coverage starts Sunday at 5:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Your home for Blue Jackets hockey, the Fan. Ohio sports destination. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me. Oh, yeah? Like what? Well, the bruiseless avocado. Ooh. The unlosable TV remote. Could change the world. And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 free drain clearing offer is the next best thing. Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote? I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at The Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Timmy Hall, Dane Sanzenbacher here tonight. I'll mention this, then I'll tell the story that I left off with in the last segment. Joe Gemma, I believe he was just elevated in his role. He used to work digital for just Ohio State men's basketball. And I think he has more of an all-encompassing Ohio State athletics department role now. So that was cool. I believe he did get a promotion here in the last year. And he tweeted this out a couple of days ago. He said, I've been toying around with some ideas for an alternate and found my way to this set. I think there's some interesting ideas that could make for a fun city edition kind of vibe. We think Major League Baseball, we think they have the City Connect uniforms that change things up a little bit, give teams sort of a third alternate. He said, not sure, let me know if I'm onto something. And it got some traction. I'd like to see it get some more. I actually gave him some of my own feedback. So if you go and find him on Twitter, he's at Joe D. Gemma. That's Gemma. And you'll see his feed. A lot of times he will post his renderings of uniform ideas for different Ohio State teams. And I believe he did the designs for the hockey teams when they had the Wrigley series. And those were really cool. Those were really, really cool. They got a lot of good feedback. If I can describe these to you, the font, so it just says OSU. I think that's a cool change up. On the front, instead of saying Ohio State or Buckeyes, it just says OSU. And it's sort of like an outline font, which I think just looks cool, has a good look to it. And my only piece of advice for him, because he shows the back of it and it's got the name below the number. I'm a classic name above the number. I don't understand. I guess you're trying to be unique, right? And trying to change things up from the norm. That's the whole idea of doing different uniforms. I get that. I just think it looks a little tighter, looks a little sweeter when the name is on top. But I actually love the color scheme. I love the actual Brutus is on the corner of the shorts. That's something different. We haven't really seen the running where he's kind of on that pivot foot, right?
Oh,
that
I know
plant foot. Yeah,
the plant foot.
Yeah, the running Brutus. I like it. There's a white, a gray, a scarlet, and a black.
Do you know how bad my jersey would look with my name under the number? It might wrap all the way around my hips.
You want that curve. Yeah,
well, you can't really
need
curve
to have
from
the
bottom.
curve
That or
to
look like a smiley
Sonsenbacher.
face on my back.
It'd be too long.
Yeah,
or
like
you'd have to make the font too small. And that also, I mean, that's a thing that you got to do, I guess, for super long names.
Mm-hmm.
You have to live with that.
I have to live with it every day.
Your jersey didn't ever look like it was smushed in there. It looked like they got it to fit properly.
It got to the
side to
wrinkle
side
of the sleeve at some point. They had to font down. They definitely fonted down in the NFL. It was taking up some space on the Ohio State version.
Would they font up for my name for a Hall for just four letters?
You would never be able to play in the NFL. So,
well, I mean, but we've had.
We
Halls.
don't even need to do a.
We don't.
No,
you don't have to be like that, like right at the end of the show on a Friday. I mean, let me have a dream, will you?
I don't think they
live
would,
a little bit.
I don't think they font up necessarily for like a 4-letter name. You'd get normal font.
So you were talking about the spot Nick's in your wife's college town, B-town, Bloomington, where the Buckeyes are going, and it reminded me of the famous spot in Lawrence, Kansas, where I went to school called the Wheel, or officially the Wagon Wheel. And there were two things. There were not really things that you did, but there were two items that was something that everybody got. I know Panama Ted for Common Man and T-Bone. He's a big fried egg on the hamburger guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Wang burger is something that a lot of Sports Center anchors would always mention when they were doing the Kansas highlights. I think Neil Everett was a big Wang burger guy. He was a big fan. Like, he would get it. SVP, I believe, was as well. So that's one of the staples there. And the other one is on their ground floor for late night, because this was a place that would stay open even after 2 a.m. because it was close enough to campus where you could hit it and enjoy even in between classes for a lunch.
Yeah.
And it was also down the hill where a lot of the other bars were, close walk to the other bars, and where houses were, there would be house parties. So it just was smart to have Wagon Wheel Pizza. And they had a whole basement pizza thing. And that's where I first started just drizzling honey all over my crust, because they had tubs of honey all over the place for dipping your crust in.
See?
And it became a great
There's
staple
a thing.
there. So a thing to do.
I mean, that's what I was telling Adam. We've talked about how much we like different campuses have their little things. And when you get to travel to different campuses, especially
Trying
having a
those
job
things.
like that,
Yeah.
do the local things.
It's like the campus eats that Todd Blackledge would do.
Yep.
Making sure that you hit like those.
It's the best part.
It's like going to West Lafayette, you got to go to Triple X, right? Or go to the Harry's chocolate shop, whatever it is. I think Triple X, though, has the peanut butter burger. That's their thing there. But when I was talking about Kansas when I mentioned, house parties were the big thing until you get to a certain point.
Okay, well, I was hoping drizzling honey on your crust wasn't the craziest thing you did in college.
That wasn't. I mean, this isn't necessarily crazy, but that just shows you how prepared we were and how with it we were. So, house parties were a really popular thing at KU in Lawrence.
Just there.
And so we never agreed with the systems that were in place where we were charging our fellow students for drinking at our party. We were of the mindset that we're going to throw a party. You can have some of our beer. It's on us.
Noble.
We all chipped in. We got this. It's our party. We're inviting you. The doors are open. So we kind of felt that was the way. And whenever we had a keg or whatever, we didn't charge anybody. That was the way we did it. And so when we went to other parties, we would send a scout in to find out what color code the Solo cup was. And so then we would send the scout in, and then we'd go back to the trunk where we had a stack of clear, yellow, blue, and red, all ready to go. And never one time in the history of our partying was it not one of those 4 distinct solo cups?
That's really good stuff.
So that's how
That's good intel and good preparation.
Yeah, we had an intelligence committee. We had a scout. We had it, and we never got busted. We never caused a scene at doing it that way. And what did we all end up drinking? Like $6 worth of beer between the 4 of us, as cheap as it was. So that's how we did it. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you missed anything, podcast, download it anywhere you get your audio. Search up the Buckeye Show, and the YouTube show will be in the library up there as well. Dane, thanks a lot for doing it tonight, man.
Tim, thanks for having me.
Let's get it done. A quick ESPN break, and then at 8:45, Buckeye women's basketball in the Big Ten tourney. It's all coming up on The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut, to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmother.com. Go Bucks!
At NJM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because it's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once with over 50 feet of video wall and more than 30 TVs. Endless chances to win big. Show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings or create your perfect bracket for a shot at Penn Cash. Enjoy food and bucket specials all tournament long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table now at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1